Well, what's up, beautiful people? Today we're going to be checking out an interview from Piers Morgan Uncensored, and this one is between Piers Morgan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they're going to be talking about the existence of aliens. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin met at a Russian spaceport today to talk about potential weapons and satellite technology deals. The world's most deadly and shortest dictators toured the rocket launch site before sitting down for a press conference. They talked about prioritising the strategic importance of North Korea-Russia relations, which should send a shudder down all our spines. Is this new worrying development in the real Star Wars, or are Kim and Vlad just trivial bit part players in a new global space race? Well, who better to ask than the world's, well, he's the most brilliant and the world's most famous astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. And so pleased to have him back on the show. Neil, great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me back.
So Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin and space seems an unholy trilogy. What is your view of what went down today?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the conversation, but seeing the images, it's a little bit worrisome because space is we've known for decades, though, it's a new high ground. And from a military strategic perspective, high ground gives you power, power that you didn't previously have. So yes, this alliance of nations that we're not friendly with concerns me. But what concerns me even more is space can be a place where we all come together for peaceful purposes, more so than anything we might ever do on Earth's surface. So for me, it's an extra offense for anyone to speak of space weaponry. Because in space, while you can have borders of countries on Earth, in space there are no borders, right? It's just space. And so to me, it's a violation of a human, our species contract with the universe, if I can call it that.
Yeah, no. When you saw, for
rights.
example, India launching rockets last week, I think it was. I mean, I found that very uplifting to watch that. It was amazing to watch it, exciting. I remember it took me right back to the 60s and 70s when I used to watch all the rocket launches as a kid. What did you feel watching all that?
Yeah, so you're probably talking about the mission where they landed near the South Pole of the Moon, as the graphic there shows. So they're the first country to land in that part of the Moon. The South Pole might have a repository of water trapped in the base of craters where the sun don't shine, because the rim of the crater is higher than the angle that the sun will ever reach it. And so the history of comet impacts and other things, water brought to the Moon would evaporate where the sun shines, but stay forever where the sun doesn't shine. And so they're the first there. This was great. They were dancing in the streets.
Yes.
And and they become the fourth country to softly land on the moon, joining. And so the idea that this becomes a world where countries participate, so that the solar system becomes our collective backyard. Am I too naive to think that that's possible? I don't know.
Well, it's
But
interesting. It's a bit
about
like
it.
artificial intelligence. You know, a lot of it is incredibly exciting and, wildly, can go into wild new frontiers of potential. And of course, there's another part of me thinks this is going to be incredibly dangerous because the wrong people will get their hands on AI and do bad things with it.
Yeah, so that's a very important observation to make, because the press that AI is getting today leads people to think that all AI is bad, when in my field we've been using AI for decades at some levels or another, and every next power of AI that comes online, we absorb it because let it do the work. I don't want to do the work.
Right.
I have other things I can do. Yeah. So it shouldn't indict the entire enterprise of AI, because you can imagine some parts of AI turning rogue. So with space, yeah, I want space to be peaceful. Think about it. In the International Space Station, it is a joint project with Russia and the United States and other countries. So if countries can't get along on Earth, do you expect astronauts in space to say, okay, separate, don't talk to each other because our leaders can't get along? That's almost childish to expect that when you have scientists and engineers in space doing real interesting work for the
There were
benefit of our
two
species.
stories, Neil, that when I saw them, I thought of you immediately. One is that scientists at NASA have announced the existence of a possible planet that could sustain life. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so that's the James Webb Space Telescope. If it's the new,
Sorry, but I hear that all the times. Like every year, they see a new planet that can sustain life every single year. So this is not news anymore. Is this true now, today?
When I saw them, I thought of you immediately. One is that scientists at NASA have announced the existence of a possible planet that could sustain life. Tell me about this.
yeah, so that's the James Webb Space Telescope. If it's the news story I'm thinking about, it has the power to observe the atmosphere and the chemical composition of the atmosphere of exoplanets if the planet passes in front of the host star. Light from the host star will move through the air, and the chemicals in the atmosphere will leave its fingerprint in the spectrum that we receive. And it found methane, it found carbon dioxide, and consider these as biomarkers. If there's evidence of life on the surface, if there's life on the surface, it may manifest in the chemistry of the atmosphere. And it's in the Goldilocks zone where you can sustain liquid water. Too close, the water evaporates. Too far, the water freezes. Everywhere there's liquid water on Earth, there's life. If not fishes, then there's microbial life. So NASA's mantra is follow the water if you want to find life. And I'm ready for the list of planets to go to. We'll rank them based on these kinds of evidence.
Right.
To say, if we want to have a second Earth or move somewhere, let's try this one first, and then the next one, and then the next one. Because plenty of the exoplanets would be fully inhospitable to life as we know it.
Fascinating. The other thing was UFOs. So the US Congress convened this panel about unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAPs, to try and work out what we do and don't know. At the same time, as we're speaking, this is freaky, but as we're speaking, apparently the Mexican parliament, someone's just produced images of alien corpses in the Mexican parliament and said they're alien corpses. So I guess my question for you, Neil, is do you believe that there are loads of aliens out there? Do you believe that governments perhaps know more than we do? And should we be fearful about this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so first of all, those are not images of alien corpses in Mexico. Those are presented as actual alien mummified aliens from like 1,000 years ago. So here's what you do. When we went to the moon, we brought moon rocks back, and NASA allowed scientists of the world to analyze those rocks. It shared samples with everyone rather than give it to only one lab. So if those are actual mummified aliens
share something
found in Mexico or wherever they were, I overheard the press conference, they said they carbon-14 dated it. It has 30% overlap DNA with humans. If those are aliens, that would be amazing. But in science, you need verification from independent sources.
You're
so
right.
what they should do, as we know from mummies, there's still a soft tissue in the mummies. If he carbon-14 dated that, I don't know if he did it on the soft tissue or on the bones, but my point is you share the data with other laboratories. And when you have agreement among what is measured, then you can talk about it as a discovery. But the press loves chasing singular stories by one laboratory that says no one else has this, but we do. You all just run to that and report it like it's the truth. So, but science is not established by single measurements or observations.
Very
You have to
good
verify.
point.
And if it is,
Some people call it stone carvings. Not all the press. Some of the press people are calling it stone carvings.
We tend to sensationalise these things now.
no, did I say that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Let's take a short break. I want to come back and talk about your brilliant new book, To Infinity and Beyond, and about vegans and about God. Maybe not even in that order. Welcome back.
Okay, yeah, I just thought I should bring this updates, short updates. Mostly I wanted to hear about the aliens, but he made a very good point. I'll put the link, just so you know, I'll put the link to the full video in the description in case you want to go check out some more. But with regards to those aliens found in Mexico, a lot of people are still not convinced. I mean, it was found in Peru, but I think the whole research was done by Mexican scientists, or it was done in a Mexican lab. People say stone carvings and they do not believe the images they've seen. And also, we've only seen on TV and on media, like nobody has said anything about actually touching. Maybe they won't be allowed to touch it. But at least like somebody else needs to give like a verifiable reason why these things are real. We only see on TV and they indeed look like stone carvings. So should we just believe these are aliens? What if aliens look nothing like that? Or what if aliens have different races and that's just one kind? Lots of questions. Anyways, let me know what you think about that. If you believe these are real aliens, like I said in my previous video, I believe until they are able to prove they are not. And the only reason why I believe it is because in the past few years or months now, all the things we thought were conspiracy theory and speculations turned out to be true. And that's the only reason I believe it. But I also believe it's a stone carving. But I believe it's an alien too. I sound stupid. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Feel free to share your thoughts, concerns, correct, critique, add to anything I've said. This is the end of this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.